The Sharks have a major decision to make with a young budding star topping a trade target list for this offseason. We talk about why Mike Grier needs to go out and trade for this guy, how much it will cost to bring him to the Bay Area, and how big of an impact he will have on this team next season. So you're not going to want to miss this episode of Sharks Digest. But before we get into that, we just want to say we're on the road for 2,000 subscribers by draft day. So if you're a big Sharks fan, want to stay up on the latest news around this team all off season long, we'll be here every day. So make sure down below and hit that subscribe button. But with that said, there has been a lot of talk around the league today with a lot of RFAs still not signed or extended during this season. A lot of them are now making their way onto trade target lists. And today there was a very interesting young star that made his way to Frank Seravalli's from Daily Faceoff's top trade targets, and topping that list, as we see here, that is JJ Peterka from the Buffalo Sabres, a left wing at only 23 years old. This is a guy who really fits the mold of this Mike Grier, Ryan Warsofsky San Jose Sharks team, and he's a guy, if I'm Mike Grier, I'm going and calling Kevin Adams and saying, hey, I want this guy. What do you need on our end? Because he fits the mold of this Sharks team going into the future. He's a young forward. You know, you get him in an RFA, you can extend him for numbers I'm seeing online right now are, you know, an 8-year deal at $7 million AAV, which I think is a steal for this guy. He has shown improvement every year to year here since he came into the NHL, and really carried a load of offense for this Buffalo Sabres team last year that, you know, they can never seem to get out of their funk. So I think trading for this guy, getting him up on the top line with a young star and Macklin Celebrini, I think these guys would feed off each other just tremendously, and I think their dynamic with just how Peterka plays and how Macklin plays would really benefit each other. And, you know, if you can lock this guy up for 7-8 years, and they can build that chemistry as they're growing with this team, they are going to be a lethal duo. But we do just take a look here at what Kevin Adams, of the GM of the Buffalo Sabres, was saying earlier this year. He did say that publicly that he had no designs on trading Peterka, but the sense is a change of scenery is in order. Multiple teams offered significant offers at the deadline, but there was no trade at that time. But they may have less of a choice now with potential offer sheeting waiting on July 1st, meaning teams can go out there and say, hey, I'll give Peterka 8 years, $8 million, and then Buffalo either has to match that, or they will, have to let him go to that team that offer sheets him and give up, the other team will have to give up a bunch of picks and compensation for taking Peterka from that team. So it is looking like him, and as well as Bowen Byram on the Buffalo Sabres, are going to be hot commodities this offseason. And I think Peterka, like I said, fits the perfect mold of this team. I mean, if we just take a look at his stats, he had 68 points last year, 27 goals, 41 assists. Then season before had 28 goals, 22 assists. And as you see, as I was talking about, it's like I said, he's been getting better every year. And at 23 years old, he's really found his game and entering into the prime of his career, almost having a point per game season last year. So I think if you can get this guy on the line with Macklin Celebrini and Tyler Toffoli, those guys are really going to run the numbers up here in San Jose. There's going to be a lot of goals coming from that line. I think that line would be lethal. Obviously, Tyler Toffoli being more of a goal scorer guy, and then you have two playmakers with him in Peterka and Macklin, but the kicker is Macklin and Peterka can both score goals, as well as we've seen here in his stat category. And if you just want a little breakdown of Peterka's game, if you're not familiar with it, obviously they say here his skating is fast, agile, strong balance. He has a quick release shot, and it's very accurate. In those video clips at the beginning of the video, you definitely did see that. He said playmaking, he's a smart passer, good vision, he's rapid development, smart off the puck movement, and his hockey IQ IQ aspect. His defense has improved, positioning more responsible, which I think since we've seen him in the NHL, he's really developed his defensive game and getting in on the boards and winning those puck battles. Is also using his stick to break up those plays offensively. And they're saying obviously here he's growing into strength and he's going into the boards a lot more. And I think, as you can see here, I think this is a perfect fit for the San Jose Sharks. This is a guy who can grow with the future of this team. And when, he's still pretty young, well, he is still young at 23. So you think in 2 years' time, maybe 3 years' time, when the Sharks are in the playoffs competing, this guy's going to be a beast. He's going to be 26. He's going to have all that experience and be at the top of his game. And I think he is going to be one of the league's next stars, in my opinion. He's getting better and better every year. His shot's getting better every year. His passing is getting better every year. This guy is an absolute beast, a great all-around forward in my eyes, and I think it would be a fool not to even go out and send an offer for this guy. And I went ahead and made this trade on Buckpedia via GM, and this is the lines I kind of cooked up. Like I said, Macklin Celebrini up there with JJ Peterka and Tyler Toffoli. But one thing I did want to note, if we just jump back to his stats right quick, this guy's a power play guy. I mean, look, last season, he had 18 points on the power play, 12 assists, power play assists with 6 power play goals. He was an absolute beast on that Buffalo Sabres power play, and I went ahead and had an early look at what we may see a power play like next year in San Jose. Will Smith, William Eklund, JJ Peterka, Macklin Celebrini, Tyler Toffoli, adapting that all-forward power play that we're seeing all around the league right now. I think he would, with his shot and how good it is, I think having him back there on that left side, he's not going to be afraid to rip that from the blue line on the power play and just get the puck on the net. I think this guy can walk in, snipe him top corner as well. I think he's a tremendous player, and I really do think that he is a perfect fit for San Jose. But getting into what we would have to give up to get this guy into San Jose. I mean, you see here what San Jose has in pick compensation. Obviously, they have the second pick, which is completely off the table in this year's draft in my eyes. I know we've heard reports about them potentially trading this, but I don't think it would be involved in this trade. But they do also have the Dallas Stars first-round pick in this draft class, and they also had another one for next year, coupling the second round. I think if Mike Grier can go out and get this guy for Dallas's first-round pick this year, maybe you have to package up one of these older guys like maybe a Wenberg, maybe even Toffoli. I think maybe tested in this trade as well. I know I'd hate to see Toffoli go, but for getting a young guy in JJ Peterka, I think I would have to let either one of these veterans go. I think these are guys that could go at the deadline in my eyes. So I think getting one of them gone with a high round pick, maybe a mid-tier prospect as well, or maybe you don't even get Toffoli involved in this. Maybe it's a guy like Kasper Halttunen, who is playing unreal in the OHL playoffs. I know you would hate to see that guy go because he's going off in the playoffs right now, but if it gets you a fully developed NHL ready forward, I think you let this happen. I think guys like Sam Dickinson, Quentin Musty, all these guys are completely off the board in this trade in my eyes. It would take a lot to bring this guy in, but I do think it would definitely be worth it to bring this guy in. As I've mentioned throughout this video, I think him and Macklin would just have some amazing chemistry. And obviously now going into a draft where we're not really sure what the Sharks are going to end up with, where the New York Islanders could either end up taking Misa, they could end up taking James Higgins, they could either end up taking Matthew Schaefer. I think this would really, end up on the decision side of the San Jose Sharks here, because I think if they end up getting Matthew Schaefer in this draft, I think they're saying, hey, yeah, we do need some offensive guys, and they go out and get a guy like JJ Peterka. I think even if they get Michael Misa, they say, okay, we can now move Will Smith to the right wing, so now we have an excess of right wingers, so maybe we do trade Toffoli and a first-round pick off to get this guy, or something like this. I do think that this will definitely be talked about in the coming weeks, and I really do think that he is a perfect fit for the future of this San Jose Sharks team, and if he is available for trade, you need to go out there and try to get this guy. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you think? Are you going out and trying to get JJ Peterka? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. But as always, I've been your host, KC. Keep your stick on the ice.